Hello, my name is Angie Doy, and this is my program, your essential guide to understanding and mastering the 8 layers of the law of attraction. Who says there are 8 layers to the law of attraction? Well, this is my way of teaching the law of attraction. I've had a lot of people ask me to explain the law of attraction to them, and I've been helping people, and as a way of teaching them, I identified that I can teach it best by saying there are 8 layers of the law of attraction, and my course indeed is how to understand that for them. I am on a mission. I want to help as many people as possible to understand and to be able to use the law of attraction in their everyday lives. I want to teach people how to use their understanding of the law of attraction to create the levels of happiness and satisfaction and the lifestyles they truly want for themselves and those they love. I would love to help you to find your shortcut to understanding the law of attraction and to help you to consciously create the life of your dreams. In this video, I will explain what the law of attraction is and why it proves so hard for some people to own and master it in their lives. I will explain how you can quickly build your levels of understanding and awareness so that you can consciously create the kind of life you want to live. The law of attraction is a universal law that describes the way the world works. The law of attraction is most often described as like attracts like. Put simply, you attract into your life whatever you think about, and your dominant thoughts will find a way to manifest in your life. Since the film The Secret was released, it has brought the law of attraction to the attention of many people who hadn't been consciously aware of this law in action in their daily lives. Many people realised for the first time that if they could understand how the law of attraction worked, they could use it to consciously create the life of their dreams. The law of attraction is a universal law in the same way that the law of gravity is a law. Describing it as a law is to explain that it is always in action, entirely predictable, and present and operational in everyone's lives. It is simply how the world works. You are not the exception. I have studied and practiced the law of attraction for many years. I began learning about it at my father's knee, which is a reminder that the law of attraction isn't a recently created personal development framework, but it is as old as the hills. You cannot opt out of having the law of attraction present in your life. It is the natural process through which you create your experiences and the kind of life you live. It is how you created the life that you are living today. I like to draw a parallel with the law of attraction and breathing. You do not have to consciously remember to draw breath. You will breathe naturally and easily, awake or asleep, at rest or at work or play. Yet, you can choose to take conscious control of your breathing and even enhance your health and well-being by learning to breathe more deeply and to focus on your breath from time to time. In much the same way, just like your breathing, the law of attraction will run in the background of your life, responding to your thoughts and feelings. And you can choose to take control of this process just as you can take control of your breathing. Mastering your thought processes is worthwhile because your everyday thoughts shape your everyday experiences, including your health, wealth, and happiness. However, Before we dive into the processes for mastering the law of attraction in your life, the first sensible step is to examine how the law of attraction is currently working for you in your everyday life. The first question to ask yourself is a very simple one. How are you feeling today? This is your first exposure to what I mean by needing to understand the layers of the law of attraction. Let's start by understanding the layers of this question. This is not a superficial level of question that you might be asked on the street or at the water cooler. How are you feeling? Many people will be able to relate to times they've been asked that question. How are you feeling today? You all right? Are you okay? How's it going? And the person asking you has not even slowed their pace, let alone stopped and stayed in earshot long enough for you to reply. Many of you will also be able to relate to times they've been asked the question, how are you feeling today? You all right? Are you okay? How's it going? And they have answered, I'm fine, thank you, even if they aren't fine at all. But what if the question hadn't been asked in a corridor or on the street, and the question was asked of you by a loving friend or a family member who sat you down with a coffee, clearly had time to listen, and was expecting an answer? No, I mean, how are things with you really? How do you feel most days? Are you 100% satisfied and happy with your lot? The question is in that context. It is asked by a loving inquirer who cares about your answers and your feelings. How are things with you really? How do you feel most days? Are you 100% satisfied and happy with your lot? I should rapidly point out that if you are 100% content with your life, then that is fantastic. Clearly, you have mastered the law of attraction, either consciously or unconsciously, and that is how it should be. My favourite definition of happiness is that happiness is not about having what you want, it's about wanting what you have. Happiness, it's that feeling that it's good to be alive. Happiness, it's being confident that today is going to be a great day. Happiness, it's being eager to share the day with those who will be around you. Happiness, it's feeling good in your body, energized and ready for anything. Happiness, it's feeling joyful and feeling that how you spend the day is worthwhile and that what you spend your time doing is worth doing. And perhaps ultimately, the eighth layer of understanding and mastering the law of attraction, it's knowing that what you do, what you contribute to the world, makes a difference. But let's return to questions about your feelings, about how you really feel about your life. This is a surprisingly deeply profound and personal question. It's a question you might never have even considered before. You aren't being asked if your wife, husband or partner would describe you as happy, or your boss, or an onlooker, or a parent, or a child. It is purely addressed to you about your life as you experience it and how you feel most days. Do you have enough? Enough time? Enough energy? Enough money to do all the things that you want to do? Another good question to ask yourself is about the balance of your life. Are you equally as happy in every sphere of your life? How's your health? Are you fully capacitated and thriving? As a general rule, if you would like your life to have more of something or less of something, less of some things and more of other things, you could probably benefit from developing an understanding of how to make the law of attraction work for you. Many people will say that they already tried to get that understanding and they've followed all the advice and still they're not seeing their dreams become their reality. And some people will say that they're not even seeing any improvement in their circumstances, even though improvement is definitely what they want. We can troubleshoot that right here and now. Are you undermining your own efforts? Whilst it's true that even if you spend only 10 minutes at each end of the day focusing on the things that you want, they can come into being. However, this can be undermined if everything else you think about and do for the other 940 minutes of your waking day is inconsistent with the very things that you're asking for. If, for example, your goal was to have a bank balance of $20,000 and you focused on that for your 10 minutes in the morning, but then when you opened your post, you saw a utility bill and then perhaps a credit card bill, and you thought, I'll never be able to pay down this debt. And you drove to work still a bit worried about how high that utility bill was. And if you stopped to fill up with gas and you thought, oof, this is so expensive. If you caught sight of a newspaper headline that warned of economic downturn and recession, and that was repeated on the radio as you drove to work, and if you repeated any of these experiences that you had on your way to work with your colleagues, and even entered into witty banter about needing to work until to ever get clear of debt, if at the end of that day you went home via the supermarket and thought that the items there were expensive, if you passed up some items saying we can't afford that, if you went home to your partner and replayed any of these events, read a paper and watched the news, all featuring the gloomy economic forecast, would you say that your dominant thoughts had been about creating that healthy bank balance that you described that you wanted? Jenny Craig, the co-founder of Jenny Craig Weight Loss, puts it like this: it's not what you do once in a while, it's what you do day in and day out that makes the difference. Mastering the law of attraction is simply understanding this: your thoughts need to be thought consistently and repeatedly before thoughts can become things. And your thoughts need to be fueled by heartfelt emotion, desire or passion. This is an important safety valve there for your protection. Imagine if your every thought suddenly manifested right here, right now. Not a great plan. This universal plan is a far better system. I have identified a way of making this really easy to understand and to master. I've written a simple book available right now on Amazon's Kindle where you can learn about getting this going in your life. You can get it here. Just follow the link in the presentation and you'll soon be on your way to living the life of your dreams. Thank you for listening.